All right, what is up, everybody? Divine Hood here, coming at you with another daily update on Bitcoin and the crypto markets. All right, guys, so over the weekend, not much has happened. We did see a small drop earlier today. You can see we were kind of just grinding down and sideways in this area. We did see a drop, and we broke our ascending channel to the downside. We then came back up for a bearish backtest. Yes, we did have a pretty big wick here. That was a little bit of a short squeeze that was happening, and we took all these local highs that were all in this area here, these semi-equal highs, and then we dumped and made new lows. Now, we are bouncing from a golden pocket, a local golden pocket. So if we do our golden pocket from the second pivot of the channel up to the highs, and we pull that golden pocket over, you can see we hit right into that 618 there. We're bouncing from the 618 right now. And we are just continuing this sort of slow grind to the upside that does still look more corrective to me than impulsive. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and delete this channel now, and we can actually look at a new channel based off of that new low. So we'll take it from the 76.6 lows, we'll bring it down to our new lows, and we'll bring it up to our highs up here. And you can see this new channel is also being respected. We rejected from the midline on that short squeeze there. We were kind of chopping around the midline all through here, and then when we lost it, we saw that bigger dump to the downside. And you can see that the top of the channel is still in alignment with our bigger resistance area above us here. So far, Bitcoin's just still grinding. We are still in this sideways range here. And I do want to talk about this range, because this range is an important range that's forming right now. Since we lost that anchored VWAP on the daily, that anchored VWAP from 49K, which is this dark blue line here, and let me go ahead and make this pink so you guys can tell the difference there. All right, and we have been forming this channel underneath that range, almost this ascending type corrective price action here. And so what we could do is we could take the volume profile. Let's go ahead and just measure the volume of all this range that's forming underneath this anchored VWAP here. Right now, we're just hovering right around the anchored VWAP and the point of control of this range. You can see that earlier today, when we did dump on that dump, we broke back into the value area. We were holding above it here. And in the last video I made, I talked about that if we can hold above this value area high, bullishly backtest this value area high and flip it to support, then we could continue up to this area. I also said that if we do lose this value area high, not hold it as support, we will break back down into our value area, and we will probably see a bigger drop to the downside. And that's what we did get. We've made two new lows since then. After we broke down into that value area, we came back up for the bearish backtest of that value area. We rejected. This was the same level as that prior ascending channel bearish backtest as well. And right now we are just seeing a small bounce from the local golden pocket pull. Right now we are seeing 1 hour bull divs on the chart. So you can see in here, lower lows on the price action, higher lows on the momentum waves, bullish div. This bullish div could bring us up to continue this grind up higher here until we actually hit our resistance level. And then we could see a bigger correction from there. Or we could actually as well come up to this value area high. And if we reject the bearish backtest of this value area high, we are probably going to make our way down around the value area low. We do have some resistance before that value area low though, so let's go ahead and talk about that. We have opened a new weekly candle, so you can see here on the charts. Let me go ahead and zoom out here, and I'm just going to hide this channel for a second so we can see this a little bit more clear. You can see we do have a new weekly level here on the charts at about $80,700 on the Coinbase chart. And right below that, we have a naked daily point of control at 80,529. So this area here would be our first area of support with those two strong levels of support coming in. It is a little bit above our value area low of this small range here. And also if we take a fib pull and we go from those 76.6K lows up to our highs that we saw, you can see our golden pocket is right in confluence with that value area low as well. So I do think that this area could be a valid support level as well, but we have one before that we need to keep in mind here. We also do have a liquidity grab of that second pivot of the channel this bigger second pivot, now we could, this pivot is still a valid pivot here as well with this liquidity grab at 79,000. But at 79, 890, 900-ish, we do have a liquidity grab into our golden pocket near the value area low. So if we are just going to continue to form more of a sideways range in this region, what do we look for? You look for shorts around the value area high. You look for longs around the value area low if you're seeing proper confirmation. So if we grind our way down into this area here, maybe we see a bounce from here and then make a lower high and then continue down to our golden pocket, we could look for bull divs on the chart. If we're forming something like some bull divs on the chart here, higher highs on the price, higher lows on the momentum waves, lower lows on the price action here, we could look for that confirmation to enter the trade at this swing failure pattern into a golden pocket. Liquidity grabs into golden pockets are absolutely great trades to take if you have proper confirmation, especially if it's at the value area low of a range, the lows of the range where we're looking for longs anyways. Now, I still do think that our green box down here that we've had marked out for a few days now is still a valid support level as well. Of course, we would be breaking two prior support levels that would be a little bit bearish for Bitcoin. And overall, in this structure that we're seeing to the upside, I am seeing it now still as a more corrective price action structure before ultimately coming down and making new lows. The question is, how high will this correction bring us before we have the bigger drop to the downside? I also want to talk real quick about our daily momentum waves, because we were seeing confirmed bull divs on the daily into this 76.6 support level. That was our 1.236 fib extinction target. Well, if we look here on Market Cipher, we did have the bull divs down there, but look at our money flow. Our money flow just is still continuing to come out pretty aggressively here. And also our momentum wave down here looks like it's trying to roll over and continue down. So there is a possibility with Bitcoin that none of this local support level holds, that we roll over to the downside, we come down, make new lows, maybe grab the liquidity from the 76.6 lows, form a third drive of bull div with 1, 2, 3 lows here, and then this thing rolls over like this, and we create 3 drives of bear div on the daily. Hopefully by then our money flow will really start to be, we want to see it being bottomed out and actually kind of curving to the upside, because we saw in here it was looking like it was bottoming out and curving to the upside, and now it is continuing to dump out. So overall, on the larger trend, money flow is still showing a bearish trend, as well as our price action as well. Our price action just is slow and grindy to the upside. It definitely looks more corrective than more impulsive, and we could continue to roll over and just continue this distribution pattern where we see the dumps here with small bounces along the way, or decent bounces along the way, but continuing to grind down to our more major support levels around $72,000 to $70,000. And that there is a major support level where I would be looking for bull divs on the daily, on the 4-hourly, 1 hour and under for a potential swing long opportunity. All right, let's go ahead and go to our bearish pitchfork here, and let's zoom back in onto the hourly chart. And you can see I've got the same range pulled on the hourly chart here. We did dump back into the value area, and overall we are holding this midline. So let's go ahead and get rid of this for a second so you could see that a little bit better. We were seeing the midline act as resistance all in this area here, and then we finally were able to bust above it on Friday, and we were working now on flipping it into support. So busted above it, we were chopping around up here around that anchored VWAP. You can see this anchored VWAP here was holding as support for a bit. We finally lost the anchored VWAP, and we're not bouncing exactly from the pitchfork midline, but in general, the pitchfork midline is now trying to be flipped to support so that we might be able to continue. If this does hold and we can get back above our value area high, I do think we can make our way up to our purple box of resistance, which is the same resistance that I talked about in my last couple videos. That is between 88K and 88.6, where we have our larger golden pocket up there. We have a naked daily point of control. We have a naked weekly point of control. We have the upper band of our bearish pitchfork. And then if we go onto our Coinbase chart and we look at our bullish pitchfork, you can see our bullish pitchfork midline is up in that general area as well. Also, we do have our one-to-one target up there if this is going to be a bigger ABC correction. So let's go ahead and talk about that ABC correction real quick, because we did technically hit the minimum target for an ABC correction to be completed as well. That's why there's a possibility we could roll over from here. So if we take our trend-based Fibonacci extinction, we go from the 76.6K lows up to our first A-wave highs, down to our B-wave lows. You can see our one-to-one target is coming in right at that purple box there, where it's just added confluence for resistance for a possible shorting level. But I want to turn on the 0.618. Now, in an ABC correction, the minimum target for a C wave is the 1.618. The 1-to-1 and the 1-2-3-6 are the most common targets for an ABC correction, but the 0.618 is like the minimum target you want to see a C wave go to. And you can see here that 0.618 was hit, and that is in the general area where we saw the rejection here on this push up on Friday. So there is a possibility that our ABC could be finished and that we are going to roll over and start a bigger correction to the downside. We're just going to have to wait and see how this plays out. We can go into our volume. We can look at our volume here. Let's turn this on. And I mean, you just see overall, since our 76.6 lows, we've just had decreasing volume this entire move up, which is not a good sign. If you want to see impulsive price action to the upside, you do want to see some increasing volume on the push up. Now, I know we did see a pretty good spike of green volume here at the top of this potential C wave here, but oftentimes in an ABC correction, you usually do see like a blow off top in your C wave with an increase in volume at the end of the correction, coming into resistance, taking some liquidity, and then dumping to the downside. So we did see that there. We are seeing that spike of volume at the potential end of this correction if this is going to be the end. Right now, what I'm really watching for is this local value area structure that we pulled. The price action that's kind of forming, this range that's forming underneath our 49K anchored VWAP. Yes, we do have a little bit of price action above that there in this area, but we are back in the value area. So what do? We trade the range until it breaks. We're back within the value area. We're just going to look at playing this value area until we see bigger moves coming in on the charts. We are seeing some local bullish bias come in here with the bull div into our local golden pocket. Maybe this move does give us one more push up to the upside to actually hit our bigger resistance area before ultimately rolling over. But I am looking at this more as a corrective price action here before we roll over. So that is about it on Bitcoin. We do have the new weekly level. We do have a new naked daily point of control. I do think this is a good support to be watching down in this general area here. And also, let's go ahead and turn on our 0.5. You can see it's a little bit higher than that area, but our 0.5 is close to our weekly and our naked daily point of control. And I do think that area is an area where we might see this general area. We could see a bounce here as well. Let's check one thing out here. Let's go ahead and pull that range just from the lows, from the 76.6 lows. Yeah, I mean, this is a valid range, I would say, but I do like the prior range better, where we pull from once we really lost that anchored VWAP there. You can see we came up in this area, back tested that anchored VWAP, made new lows, came up again, back tested the anchored VWAP, made new lows, back tested. You get the idea. So we are hovering right around this anchored VWAP. We are seeing the daily maybe possibly rolling over here and continuing the move down. Our volume is low. This structure does look corrective here. And we do have our resistance areas above us. I also want to talk about one more range. We're going to pull our volume profile, and we're just going to go in. We're going to pull this sideways range. Actually, we should do it from the prior lows right before that Trump tweet pump, that three-wave correction there. You can see our value area high is coming in right at that purple box of resistance above us, and the Get rid of that actually. And the value area low is coming in right around our golden pocket and that swing failure pattern. And we could even see a quick wick down here to grab this and then overall close an hourly or maybe a 4 hourly at or above this weekly level. And the weekly level could hold as support, maybe make another move up from there. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at here. Overall, Bitcoin does still look to be more in a complex correction with just a bunch of series of three-wave moves. We saw the three-wave move in here, the ABC here, the bigger three-wave move. We might be forming another three-wave move right now. And then we could just roll over and dump to the downside. If we do hold local support, see a bounce here. I do want to talk about the potential still. There is a potential now. I think it's less of a probability, but this structure here from the 76.6 lows, we could be looking at all of this as a wave 1. This could be a wave 2 correction. This could be another wave 1. We could be rolling down if we do bounce from our weekly level and our naked daily point of control. This could be another wave 2, and then we could see our big explosive third wave to the upside. That is still a possibility because we still do have to remember, we do have bull divs on the daily chart. Now, those bull divs are looking like they're trying to get invalidated. Money flow is not really confirming those bull divs. We really want to see money flow supporting those bullish divs there. And also, if you look on lower time frames, our 1 hour, you can see our money flows back into the red here. We are just kind of, losing the money flow on that 1 hourly oscillator. And let's go to our 4 hour, check that real quick here. Yeah, 4 hour. Okay, so money flow's bottomed out here, and you can see we are trying to roll up here. Now, our momentum wave down here is not looking the best yet. It's not looking fully bottomed out yet here, so we might be kind of continuing this push to the downside. If we do roll over and create new lows, we do have to remember, we have the liquidity grab here. I am actually really starting to like the bottom of the pitchfork band down here around 74,200, depending on how quick we get down there, 74,000 to like 74,400. If we go to our bearish pitchfork here, and let's go ahead and look at the bottom of the bearish pitchfork. Okay, the bottom of the bearish pitchfork is a little bit lower here. It's about 73, which where we know that's where the start of our more macro support does come in around that area. But I would expect to see still small bounces at like this daily level at the pitchfork band. Maybe we come back up to the midline, reject from the midline, and then come down to this area where at that time, because this is a dynamic support that is changing with time, getting lower with time, our bottom of our bearish pitchfork from the all-time highs could be aligning really, really nicely with our bigger golden pocket from 72K to 70K. All right, let's go ahead and look at our liquidation heat map here. And this is the Model 3 heat map. We're on the 2-week time frame. You can see that the majority of our liquidity is still above us. And this is why we know that liquidity acts as a magnet and price action tends to get pulled towards that liquidity to stop out the traders before continuing the move. So with this overall structure to the upside being more corrective, there's a possibility that we could continue up just a little bit higher to take that liquidity. Now you can see we have one liquidity cluster that ends around 86,000-ish, and that would be a nice SFP of our highs from Friday. The SFP here, take that liquidity, but our more big liquidity cluster, our stronger liquidity cluster is up around that 88K area. If we busted up to 88 to 88.6, we would be wiping all this liquidity, sweeping it all, and then we could see the bigger correction to the downside. Now, even if we do come up to that 88.6 area, I do still think that this is a strong area where we could roll over to the downside. We could come all the way up to this area, hit into this resistance, and then see the bigger rollover from there as well. So there's a lot of kind of possibilities on the chart right now. We can just play that little range until it breaks. Range trading, look for highs near the, look for longs near the value area low. Look for shorts near the value area high. Look for proper confirmation to get in with Market Cipher. And we can also look at our CVD here. All right, so CVD, we're not really seeing too much here. You can actually see here on the charts this push up that we got earlier was a short squeeze. You can see that our CVD was increasing to the upside, but our open interest, a big decrease in open interest. And what does that mean? That means traders are closing their positions, getting stopped out, or getting liquidated. And a forced liquidation on a short is a market buy. That's why our CVD is increasing in this area. CVD is increasing. We had that short squeeze to take the liquidity of all these semi-equal highs up here. And then we saw the reversal to the downside here. We could look at this little mini structure here on the 5-minute as a potential 5-wave impulse to the downside here, being completed into our local golden pocket. And now we might be seeing either a 3-wave correction or the start of a bigger impulse to the upside. But other than that, not too much on CVD. We are not seeing much bullish absorption here on the CVD. Let's zoom out to the 15-minute chart. And let's go ahead. Let me clean this up just a second here. Okay, so overall from our 76.6 lows, we are still seeing a little bit of bullish absorption, even though the open interest is not as clean as I would like it to be. You can see we are making higher highs on the price action through this like ascending channel type structure here. Overall, from the 76.6 lows, we are making lower lows on the CVD, and our open interest, I would say our open interest is looking not the best, but overall it is increasing from the 76.6 lows. So remember, we can look at that. We can take our vertical line here. We can go right on those lows, and we can place that vertical line there. Let's go ahead and tighten this up here. And you can see from this area here, your CVD or your open interest is increasing overall in this area. This to me though, this last bit where we're dumping here and our open interest is declining, the last few times I've seen this pattern, it really has been invalidating the bullish CVD absorption. So I am worried about that being invalidated there. Overall though, technically we are seeing it, and so we do need to pay attention to that. I would be looking for those support levels that we just talked about. First and foremost, that weekly and naked daily point of control between 80,700 and 80,500. If we do come down into this area and we still are seeing that bullish absorption, we could look for confirmations on market side for B to enter along there. And then if that doesn't hold, we could be looking at this local liquidity grab into the value area low and into our golden pocket area. So yeah, that's about it on Bitcoin. Not too much more. We're still just kind of in this slow, grindy price action to the upside. Not a lot happened over the weekend. Let's go ahead and turn the volume off here. Still the same targets to the upside. We have that 88 to 88,600 level. That's an area I'm interested in. And then, of course, we still do have the 93K value area low that's above that. And this value area low is still going to be acting as a major resistance because since we've lost that big range that we were in from November 11th until about February 25th or so, we have not been able to reclaim that. And we've also bearishly back tested it twice and rejected twice. So that does tell us we're trying to form a new fair value for Bitcoin in a lower price range. All right, yeah, and then you can see our anchored VWAP from the all-time high is coming down to about that 93K area. And by the time, if we do end up working our way up there, that anchored VWAP from the all-time high is going to be in pretty close confluence with this 93K area where we could see the rejection again to continue the dump down and the distribution down more. All right, that's it for Bitcoin. Let's go into Ethereum now. Let's go in onto the hourly chart. All right, so Ethereum, last time we looked at Ethereum, we were looking at like this descending channel here. You can see we did break that descending channel to the upside. We came to around that daily level. We broke that daily just a bit, chopped around. We did take our, we took our liquidity from the top of the channel. So if we grab this area here, you can see we had the swing failure pattern. I talk about this oftentimes. When you have a descending channel or an ascending channel and you break it to the upside, oftentimes you'll sweep the liquidity of that channel and then you could reverse to the downside in this case. And we did come up, we did see an SFP of those highs right up in this area here. It wasn't much of an SFP, but we did get that liquidity grab and we've dumped down to the downside. So now we can get rid of this channel here and we can look at this general area for Ethereum. You can see we did have a pretty aggressive dump to the downside, and since that dump ended, we've just been ranging sideways on Ethereum here. And we are at a bigger support level for Ethereum, so I did expect a range here. If you go back to my last few videos, we had a green box drawn out in this general area where it was a bigger support level where we did surmise that we could see a bit of a range form over the next couple weeks here. So we have our range. We can pull our volume profile for that range, and we can just look for range trading. Once again, just like Bitcoin, we were trying to hold above the value area high of the range. You can see we were like back testing it a couple times, trying to bounce, lost it to the downside, came back up for a bearish back test where that daily level was, rejected from this general area, moved down to the value area low. If we do our fib pull, let's grab that fib pull from this low to the high, and let's turn on our golden pocket. You can see the golden pocket was also in that general vicinity here. Bouncing golden pocket here. All right. Let's go ahead. I'm going to get rid of this daily now, and let's zoom it out onto the weekly chart, and we can look at our new, if we have any new weekly levels here. So nothing new as far as the weekly goes on Ethereum because this candle has just opened. This week has just started. So we do have weekly open that if this candle closes green at the end of the week, we will see a new weekly support level, but it's way too early to mark that out right now. Let's go on to our daily chart here. And yes, we did have that daily as well down near that golden pocket, and that daily was swept. So we had a daily down here. You can see that our daily and our golden pocket overall held. Let's zoom back in onto the hourly. That is where our local dump happened today. If we just take that here, we bring that over. Golden pocket, daily, value area low, general support zone, and we are bouncing and we are just trading the range here. Now to the upside, locally, we can look from our highs down to our lows from today. You can see that our golden pocket is near the value area high, and we do have that internal liquidity grab that's up there as well. This area right here at 1,923. So we could be looking for the liquidity grab into the value area high with our golden pocket here. Maybe see a little bit of a wick past the golden pocket like we did down in this area here, and then continue to roll over and dump back to the value area low, or even break this range to the downside. Overall, I am still a little bit leaning towards this being more of a correction here, and it could even be, if we really want to get scary with this, this could be a big bear flag sort of that is forming here, where we're just going to continue to chop sideways for a bit and then start to dump down to that $1,600 to $1,500 range support area. And that's a major support area. Okay, so let's check this out. Pull this here. So if this is a bigger bear flag, we could be looking at this as the flag of the bear flag, and we can just trade this channel as well. You can see up towards the midline of the channel, we would be having the swing failure liquidity grab of the highs of this small range up there into the midline. And that would be an area where if we were seeing bear divs coming up into this liquidity grab, and we do get the confirmed swing failure pattern, we could look for a short in this area. But I do want to warn, though, if we do come up there, we will be breaking the value area high of this smaller range. So there's a possibility that we could continue to work our way up here, swing fail into the midline, and then we might just dump down and bullishly backtest the value area high and continue up higher. But that would still be a good scalp. If you short this midline here, TP1 would definitely be around the bullish back test of the value area high. And for me, that is good enough to look for a scalp trade there. All right. Let's go ahead and do our golden pocket pull just from the last big hourly high down to the low. Let's pull that over. Okay, yeah, so we are rejecting from our 0.5 multiple times here. If we just grab this over, you can see 0.5 rejected us multiple times in this area. All right. Now, this daily has been tapped. We tapped this earlier today, so I'm going to just go ahead and delete that off the chart now. And really, our next major support level is still coming in down here. If we look at Market Cipher on the daily, you can see just like Bitcoin, our money flow is really deep into the red here and continuing to come out. Our momentum wave was bottoming out, but just like Bitcoin, if we go ahead and pull this up here, you can see that it's starting to try to curve and roll over here. Money flow coming out this aggressive is still a bad sign here on Ethereum overall. If we wanted this support level that we're at right now, this general vicinity, to really hold and to see a bigger swing trade, we want to be seeing some bull divs here, or at least money flow curving to the upside, bottomed out and curving to the upside here. If we go on to our 4-hour chart, yeah, money flow still looking pretty bad here on the 4-hour as well. You can see that it was trying to come up and now it is starting to kind of curve back down again. Money flow continuing to bleed out here in this sideways grinding structure that we're seeing that looks definitely more corrective. We could go ahead and turn on the volume on this as well. And I mean, look at how clear this looks here. We are grinding in a slightly ascending channel with decreasing volume from the lows, really decreasing volume on this small push to the upside in a sideways range. To me, this looks far more corrective than impulsive, and oftentimes you'll get a relief range or relief bounce to the upside before ultimately breaking that down and coming to your more major support levels. So it does to me look like Ethereum is still looking for lower targets. For now, we just play the range on Ethereum. We play this small range here. We look for trades within the range. So shorts near the value area high, longs near the value area low. Of course, you want to be seeing proper confirmations to enter those trades. Let's go ahead and zoom in on the hourly chart here. Yeah, money flow as well on the hourly. You can see it is just coming out. So first off, let me do that. Let's look here on Market Cipher B. You can see locally, let me get rid of this stuff. Locally, we were seeing bearish divs up here. Higher highs on the price action here. Lower highs on the momentum waves. And money flow was topped out. And overall now, money flow has been coming out here. But I would like to say we are, just like with Bitcoin on the hourly chart, we are seeing some local bull divs. You can see 1 hour, lower highs on the momentum waves here, and lower lows on our price action. So if we do see this area hold, we could make our way up, at least to take the liquidity of the top of the range into our channel midline before seeing that bigger dump to the downside. Or if we really start to see a bigger push to the upside, maybe this lasts a little bit more. We come up, reject from the midline, bounce from that value area high bullish backtest that I talked about earlier. We could work our way up to the top of the channel where you can see our bigger golden pocket is. And yeah, in the top of the channel here. So, and then we could make that dump to the downside. All right. Now, as far as support to the downside, I mean, we do have the SFP of these lows here at 1754, but really there's no major support until we get down to this 1600 to 1500 area. And this is such a major support. And on the macro time frame, we are so close to it that I do give it a pretty big possibility that we end up working our way down here. It could take some time, but we have a probability to work our way down to this bigger support level, and then we could see a potential swing long opportunity from this area here. All right, let's do this. Now we still are in this descending channel as well. You can see this descending channel is a pretty steep descending channel, really since we started losing the value area low of this bigger range. And this value area low was a really important value area low. Let me zoom out so you guys can get a better look at that. Let's go on to the daily chart. And you can see how important this range was. This is all this upper price action here, really going back to January of 2024. So like a 15-month range. And when we lost the value area low here, we lost it on that big flash crash we saw, a month or so ago. We were grinding underneath the value area low for a while, tried to break above it, couldn't, and then that's when we saw the dump to the downside. So since we've rejected overall the bearish backtest of the value area low, we have been forming this very steep descending channel that is creating quite the liquidity curve, by the way. We have liquidity here, and just liquidity building up through this whole thing here. What we can do is we can look at the bigger fib pulls. We already have some boxes marked out, but we can do a Fibonacci pull from the highs to the lows of the channel. We turn on that golden pocket. And okay, so golden pocket is near the second pivot liquidity up there, but I do think the 786 is a little bit better. That 786 is up near our bigger box of resistance up here, where we do have the value area low of our prior range. We have a log channel backtest. Now that's that big weekly log channel that I was talking about, that was warning about us breaking it down the last couple weeks in the videos. An anchored VWAP is coming in right around that area, and then our 786 is coming in right around that area. I'm just going to zoom out here, and we're going to make sure this is actually pulled down. That's 786. So yeah, overall, Ethereum is still looking pretty bearish here. This sideways range, we were expecting this, but look at the decrease on the volume in this range. It's just not showing a lot of momentum to the upside, and the trend is your friend until the end. And the trend has been down pretty aggressively, especially since we lost the value area low here. So we do have to expect that the trend has a bigger probability of continuing down. Now you can see that even if we come up to the top of this descending channel here around 1900 and we reject, we could come all the way to the bottom of this descending channel where we do have our bigger support level. We could look for a bounce. There's a lot of confluence in this box here for a support and a bigger bounce to the upside. And then we would want to see us really, if we do something like this, we would really want to see us break this to the upside and then see a bigger move to the upside to sweep the liquidity of this entire channel here, at least up to this second pivot up here. Sweep the liquidity into our bigger purple box. That's what I'd be waiting for. But with us hitting a major support level down here between 1600 and 1500, we could push up much higher. We could see a much bigger bounce to the upside, a much bigger relief rally, even if this is going to be a lower high coming in before ultimately continuing even lower on Ethereum, which would be really devastating for Ethereum if it breaks $1,500. But we do have to just keep that in mind on the charts. Let's go to the weekly here, and let's look at this weekly. So yeah, our weekly has now invalidated the potential of weekly bull divs here. You could see we were looking at this as a lower low on price action, and we were trying to look at this as a higher high on the momentum waves. You can see that our momentum wave is now continued down lower than our prior momentum wave, invalidating the weekly bull divs on the chart. Also, if you look here, let's go ahead and pull this up full screen. You can see we're just crossing over into the red here on the money flow on the weekly chart, which is not a good sign here. We could probably expect continuation down. It does look like that it still has some It looks like it wants to continue that momentum to the downside. Money flow leaving the asset on the weekly time frame. And we also looked at that daily. Let's go into the daily again. That daily money flow still looks pretty bearish here. And also, we do not have any daily bull divs either. You can see we do have lower lows here on the momentum waves. It would be nice if we could see maybe a push up, even if it's a push up into these smaller purple boxes of resistance, and then that rollover down to our major support level. That would give us enough time on the daily. Now, this would take maybe up to a couple weeks, because we got to remember this is the daily time frame. We could see lower lows on the price action, and if the momentum waves do something like this, we would be seeing higher lows on the momentum waves, daily bull div. By then, we would hope that money flow is bottoming out and curving to the upside here into our major support level, and then we could see that bigger relief rally to the upside. All right, and then one more thing we could look at is just the more macro time frame. We could do that Fibonacci pull from the highs of the cycle, 4,100 highs, down to our lows, our new lows. Let's turn on that golden pocket. You can see we have that golden pocket marked out. Let me just take this and shift that just. There we go. Golden pocket is around the point of control of our major 15-month range. So I would be looking at this general area between 3,204 to 3,328 as a major resistance level where we could put in a lower high and then continue down if it's a real bear market and we're going to continue a long-term bearish trend to the downside. Let me get rid of that there. Yeah, but overall, just like with Bitcoin, we were in a major range. Now, this range is much longer than Bitcoin's range. This is a 15-month range, not a 3-month range. We lost that range to the downside, and you can see here on Ethereum, we haven't even really come back up to bearishly backtest this range since losing it. We did have some immediate backtests after this flash crash in this area, but since really kind of pulling away from this range, we still have not come up to bearishly backtest it on higher time frames. And I do think that if we continue to grind our way down to this level, we could see, absolutely could see a bounce up to bearishly backtest this. And this is going to be what's key. Are we going to reject from this area and continue to roll over, or are we going to reclaim it and work our way up to that point of control area? Once you reclaim this range, you can expect to move up to the point of control, and then if you flip the point of control, you can expect to move up to the value area high. Let's go ahead and look at our new naked weekly points of control here to see if we have any new naked weekly points of control. Let me zoom in onto the 4-hour here. All right, so we do have a new naked weekly point of control up around 2178 up here. Let's do a golden pocket pull from the second pivot of our channel down to the lows. Okay, that's a little bit low, a little bit lower than that area. And it does look like we do have a new weekly naked weekly point of control down below us. Now we have to remember that this candle, this weekly candle, just opened a couple hours ago. So this is still naked here. You can see that it's extending. It is still naked. So we do have that support that's just below us. Let's see, around 1875, 1880, this general area down here. And then this one we're not paying attention to because that's our current weekly that has not closed yet. Let's look at our naked dailies real quick. Okay, naked dailies, pretty much the same thing. We do not have any naked dailies above us in this entire descending channel. You can see all these points of control have kind of been pulled all the way up until our bigger purple box up here near the bearish backtest of the value area low that we lost of that bigger 15-month range. And to the downside, we just have that local naked daily point of control that's pretty much where our naked weekly we were just looking at was, right below us. Let's zoom in onto the hourly chart. Yeah, so we do have some naked dailies and naked weeklies just below us here, but you might see if we're going to continue this real micro trend of like higher highs, higher lows, and then we're going to flip it, you know, or maybe, yeah, I mean, it is probably going to be around our local golden pocket. Let's go in onto like the 15-minute chart here, and let's do our golden pocket pull from the lows from earlier today to our highs that we just made. And it looks like our 0.5 is right in that area. Let's turn this off. I mean, this was a nice liquidity grab of these lows down here, and this was around our local golden pocket. So we saw one bounce from the local golden pocket, came up for a lower high, and then had that liquidity grab of that local low. Now, we still have not really broken market structure bullishly yet, not even on the 15-minute chart. I would really want to see us break this market structure up here to really get bullish around 1923. But this does look like it could be a sort of head and shoulders type, inverse head and shoulders type pattern that's happening with, you know, like left shoulder, head. I don't really like this as the right shoulder though, so maybe we come up one more time, reject from this area, and then create a right shoulder here, because this is not a good right shoulder in my opinion. Let's zoom out and let's look at the value area high again. So yeah, okay, value area high of our range is right above the liquidity grab, that local liquidity grab. I do think that's a possibility that we could come up here, just grab this liquidity, and then roll back down. And then in that case, if we roll back down, our naked daily point of control is a little bit below our range point of control. It is near the 0.5 fib pull. Of course, that fib pull would change if we did come up to the value area high. It would change, and our 0.5 would be our near our point of control. Our golden pocket would be near that naked daily point of control. So that's a possibility to look for support. If we do come up here first, grab this liquidity and reject, we could be looking at this general area between 1883 and 1885, but that's all speculation right now. None of that has happened. Overall money flow does look pretty bearish on the 1 hour, but we are seeing those 1 hour bull divs, so those 1 hour bull divs might just take us up to grab this local liquidity that's just above us at 1923, and then see another push to the downside here. Overall on Ethereum though, I would just like to say trade the range until it breaks. We're in this sideways range, and you could look for shorts near the highs, look for longs near the lows of the range, look for added confluence, and look for your confirmations to enter the trade. Keep in mind that the overall bigger trend is bearish to the downside, and that this range, as this range is developing, volume is continually decreasing to the downside, showing a weak move to the upside, a weak relief bounce or range, and then possible continuation down to our bigger support levels. All right, that's it for Ethereum. Let's go on to Solana. All right, Solana here. Let me turn off this volume for a second. Solana's still just trading. We were trading in this ascending channel here on Solana. You can see, let's pull that range. Oh. This sideways range here of kind of this small price action. Yeah, and we're bouncing from the value area low, so let me go ahead and hide this bigger range. Wrong one. All right, this is the small range of the ascending channel, a little bit, just this sideways range here. And you can see that, actually, you know what? I'm going to pull this range. Let's check it from the lows. No, this is more of the sideways range we want to be looking at after this last kind of impulse down here. Yes, we did grind sideways and continue the impulse down. But if we look at this range here, just like with Bitcoin, we broke above the value area high of the range. We were chopping around the channel midline for a bit here. And then you could see we lost the channel midline, back tested the channel midline, and then we lost the range here. And when we lost the range, we had a bearish backtest of that range. You can see we lost it, came back up for the bearish backtest, rejected the bearish backtest of the channel, and we made new lows. We're continuing down to make new lows. Let's do that golden pocket pull from the second pivot of the channel up to our current highs. And okay, so we did break even a little bit past our golden pocket here. Bitcoin bounced from the 618 of the golden pocket. Solana did dump a little bit past that. We did not hit the 786 yet, though. And overall, our price structure very locally is bearish with this move down here. This could be looked at, this whole ascending channel, once again, could be looked at as a correction, ABC correction to the upside. Now, if we do our trend-based Fibonacci extinction and we go from the lows of A to the highs of A to the lows of B, you can see we did hit our minimum target of the 618, but we still have not worked our way up to that 1-to-1 fib area. Yeah, and then we still have the channel midline of the, or pitchfork midline of that bigger pitchfork that you can see all through here was holding as support. Once we lost it to the downside, we really saw that big flush to the downside here. And now it might act as a general resistance. And if we continue to work up, what we can do now is we can delete this ascending channel here. Let's go ahead and turn off this 618. Yeah, and I would say we do have the naked daily and the naked weekly point of control from 142 to 143. Let's zoom out here onto the daily chart. And let's go ahead and look at that bigger range. Now, this range is from the highs in March, the March highs that we saw in 2024 all the way over. You can see we had that big impulse up, and since then we've kind of been ranging in more of this sideways structure. Now, the last time we looked at Solana, we were trying to reclaim this value area low here. Well, you can see on Friday, we did reclaim the value area low. And earlier today, or yesterday as far as the charts go, we came back down, back tested the value area low. We are holding, as of now, we are bouncing from the back test of the value area low. And our point of control of this range is in our bigger box of resistance above us. You can see we have the point of control of that range. Now, this is a large range that's over a year long, so that point of control is going to be a very strong resistance. We also have our 1-to-1 target in that general area of the ABC correction. We do have the pitchfork midline, the naked daily point of control, the naked weekly point of control, and let's go ahead and check and see if we have, okay. So no new weekly levels. I mean, we still have this one up here. I have that marked out. It's just hidden, and that's around the SFP of 180 up there. Let's go to our dailies. All right, just locally, we do have some support both below us and above us as far as daily levels go. We have this new daily level that was just confirmed a couple hours ago. Let's mark that out. That is around 135.86. And then we have support that is just below us, a daily that is at 123.37, and then another daily down here around 118.32. Zoom back in onto the hourly chart. Yeah, so overall on Solana, we are reclaiming that value area low, and we are bouncing locally from the reclaim of the value area low. So as long as this value area low holds us, we probably could work our way up at least to this daily at 135.86. We do have that daily up there, and if we do our Fibonacci pull from the highs, I'll fix that. Let's get that fixed there, and let's do our golden pocket. Okay, so we do have a golden pocket that is near the daily, and you can see we have some nice liquidity of the weekend range up here into that golden pocket. So I would say our golden pocket from 137 to, I'll say 137.2 to 138.49, 138.5, this area could be a nice liquidity grab into a golden pocket. I talk about SFP's liquidity grabs into golden pockets all the time. It's a really good setup to take. You sweep that liquidity into your resistance, into your golden pocket, which is your strongest resistance in a Fibonacci retrace, and then we could see that dump to the downside, or at least a dump to make a higher low, and then continue to work our way up to our purple box of support up here. So that's an area of local resistance I would be watching. Let's go ahead and mark that out. We'll do this. And then as far as to the downside goes, we can do our Fibonacci pull from the lows to our current highs here. All right. The dailies, let's see, our 786 is probably going to be aligning with this bottom daily. Let's look at that. Yeah, pretty close here. So I would say this 786 daily is a support level we could be watching. Let's do this here. And we do have that liquidity grab of this first internal dump here on this move up. We saw this little internal dump. So we have an SFP right into our daily and our 786 here. So I would say this box of support, let's make this green, and let's really get in here and get this. There we go. And I'm going to leave it right on the daily. I'm not going to bring it up to the actual SFP level because we want to see us move past that level a little bit to actually stop out and grab the liquidity and then make a move up. So this area here is where I'd be looking. Now, we do have to look at as well, remember that ascending channel that we first looked at here on the chart on Solana, this ascending channel that we broke to the downside here, the second pivot of that channel, we have that liquidity into our golden pocket. This might hold. I wouldn't expect, if we come down here and bounce, I would probably be looking for another bearish back test of the value area low to continue down lower. And we do have to keep into context. Overall, let me clean this chart up a bit here before I talk about this. Overall, we did not come down to our one-to-one bigger ABC correction target. We front ran it. We also have our major liquidity at $110 that we did not come down and take this liquidity. We had front run it. Let me get rid of this channel now. You can see we did not quite come down to this area. And so I do think that Solana overall is in the process of just continuing this downtrend of lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. And we see that move down to sweep this liquidity into our bigger lower band of the pitchfork down here between really $106 to $100. We have the 1236 coming in at 103.13. Yeah, and then as far as, let's stay on the daily for a second here. As far as our divs go, let me hide this. And I'm going to hide this new daily. We did have lower lows here on the price action and higher lows here on the momentum waves. We were making a bull div here, and we did get a small push up from this bull div. So far, this push up looks very corrective and very weak. But look at, we can expect that because look how bearish our money flow looks on the daily, coming out very strong here on the daily chart. And our daily momentum wave is starting to roll over once again. So if we roll over and come down, grab this liquidity into our bigger band of support where our ABC correction also ends, then we could see maybe a third drive of bull divs on the daily. By then, our money flow we want to see really be bottoming out and starting to curve to the upside, and this could give us a great potential trade. Also, we have to remember that $100 level is a psychological level for Solana, and a lot of people might be interested in buying Solana around $100. That could give us a bigger relief rally to the upside. Yeah, and honestly, if we break $100, we're probably going to come down to the bottom of the pitchfork, $91, $90, $87. But we'll look at that once we start getting there. Right now, we are reclaiming the value area low of our big 15-month range here. 12-month range, I'm sorry, from March to March. We're in March again. So this 12-month range, and we just play the range until it breaks. We're near the lows of the range. We did have a deviation of that range. We're getting back in that range, and so far it's holding. I just do not like the way our push to the upside looks. You can see even on our 4-hour chart, money flow still coming out pretty aggressively here. We were seeing some bull divs, of course, just like on the daily. We had 4-hour bull divs here, so you could see lower lows on the price action, higher lows on the momentum waves. That was a horrible line, but higher lows on the momentum waves here. And that gave us this small push to the upside. But once again, guys, if we think about price action, there's two types of price action in Elliott wave theory. We have corrective and impulsive price action. And look at this. To me, this looks very three-wave correctish before maybe rolling over and continuing down. Now, until we lose the value area low, we do have to presume that we have reclaimed the value area low and that we might continue just a little bit higher here. But overall, this looks like a very three-wave corrective move before flushing to the downside. If we turn on our volume here, you can see once again on this, just like with Bitcoin, just like with Ethereum, overall decreasing volume on this push to the upside here. Weak move with decreasing volume, push to the upside. We are also, let's get rid of some of this stuff here. I'm just going to hide some of these levels on the chart so we can see this a bit clearer. Okay, so you can see here this pitchfork midline, first of all, was overall acting as a support level, and then when we lost it to the downside, we could flip it into resistance. But we could also look at this as a sort of horizontal support resistance flip. So if we grab like a box here, and we just kind of pull it like this area here, you can see overall support, broke it to the downside. Now it's going to be acting as a resistance where we could now just reject from our what used to be support, now being flipped into resistance, and continue the push to the downside. Might chop around for a little bit more, start to form a range. We are at the bigger value area low, so it is possible at the bigger value area low to start to form a more long-term range that could last us even a couple months around this value area low to start finding some bottoming price action, sellers getting exhausted, and then seeing a push to the upside. But I just personally don't see us front-running that 110K level so closely, front-running our ABC correction target so closely, not coming down to this pitchfork band, and then pushing up ahead before coming down and making one more low. So that's what I'm looking at on Solana. The purple boxes are our support, our resistance is above us. If we zoom back into the hourly, we have the SFP into the golden pocket from 136.8 to 138.7, I'll say. And then above that, we have our next purple box, and I'm actually going to pull this down to that 1-to-1. So it's from 141.69 to like 144.15. That area is really the bigger support level where we could see a much bigger, if we do come up here, a bigger rejection and then the push down. Let's check out our new naked weekly points of control. Let's see if we have any of those on the chart that are relevant. Yeah, we do. Okay, so we have a new naked, and then you can see that naked weekly. I already have that marked out up here. But let's go ahead and mark this naked weekly point of control out here. And then we'll look at the dailies as well. Okay, so no dailies below us. We do have a naked daily point of control that closed just a couple hours ago, confirmed. It is just above us here. It's very close to us, and I wouldn't expect much. We might push up to that area around, let's see, 129.8 and then roll over. But we are, I mean, this one, it's not too important to me, to be honest with you. Okay, so now that we have this new naked weekly point of control marked out at 123.8, we can look at our Fibonacci pull again from the lows to the highs locally here, and you can see that 786 is right around that naked weekly point of control. But let's go ahead and do this here. Yeah. So the issue with this naked weekly point of control here, for me, is that we'd be breaking the bigger value area low to the downside. So if we break it again after bouncing from it locally, if we just make another lower high and start breaking it to the downside, this could be a very risky, even though it's a support level, it could be a very risky support because we would be losing our more macro support of a 12-month range value area low. Once again, let's take that range pull, the smaller range. Let's look at that. Yeah, and we'd even be breaking the value area low of our smaller range to the downside. So we do have very local support with the 786 near this naked weekly point of control, but not much else as far as confluence goes. And we'd have to keep in mind that we would be losing this bigger value area low down here. Oh, I'm sorry, the smaller range value area lows here, down near the golden pocket. That's right. I actually want to mark this out because I like this area. So we have the liquidity grab into the golden pocket, into our value area low between 121.47 and 123.4. I do think this area is a good area to be looking if we're just going to continue to range for a bit. Be taking the second pivot liquidity of that ascending channel. So overall, what I'm trying to say about that naked weekly point of control, it's kind of in a dangerous spot to look for long, because if we lose this bigger value area low again, we might just continue to flush to the downside. All right, that's it for Solana. Actually, did we check the new? Let's come in here and look at the weeklies. Yeah, we checked that. Okay. All right, on to XRP. Okay, it looks like XRP did make that push up into that resistance area we were looking for. Let's zoom out here. Yeah, so last time we looked at XRP, we were just playing this range here. We'd obviously broken it to the downside, grabbed our liquidity, and then we were seeing that push up here. Now, I did long this down here at 143.7, and I'm still in that long, but I've taken 3 TPs on it, and I'm pretty much out of that trade. I have a little bit running. TP1 was this midline near the bearish backtest of the value area low. You can see we did get a small rejection from there, but then we're able to continue up, and then I do believe I took some profit at 243. Let's see, where was that? Yeah. And then in this area, so maybe I've only taken 2 TPs. But this was our point of control of our range since that big flash crash that we saw about a month ago. Let's see, when was that? Yeah, about a month ago here. That big flash crash, we've been ranging kind of sideways here on XRP. We came up after reclaiming the value area low. You can see we pushed up above the value area low, back tested that value area low, held it as support, worked our way up to the point of control. Rejected from the point of control, which was also our golden pocket area. We had this box marked out, and we are seeing a little bit of a dump to the downside from here. Now, if we go ahead and take our Fibonacci from those lows to the highs that we made, I just want to check out our 382. Where is that? Here we go, 382. Okay, so we haven't even hit the 382 yet. And we were looking at this bigger push as the ABC correction to the downside. If you go back and watch some of my prior videos from last week, we were looking at this as an ABC. This is why we were looking to long support down here. It was the one-to-one correction target of that ABC, plus the local liquidity grab that we had of those range lows. So if we grab our trend-based Fibonacci extinction, we go from the highs to the lows to the highs. Let me get rid of this. There we go. You can see we did hit that one-to-one target here, grab the liquidity of those lows, and we saw that push to the upside. Now that we have reclaimed our value area low and we're trading back within the range that we've been in for 3 to 4 weeks here, we can look for this value area low, bullish backtest, to see if we're going to hold it as support and continue to break either the point of control and work our way up to the value area high, or just work our way up to our next resistance area. So let's go ahead and do our fib pull from the lows to the highs here. And let's look at our 0.5. It's going to be a little bit below. Yeah, all right. That 0.5 is in pretty close confluence with our channel midline of our bigger descending channel that we've been in. This huge descending channel. And so I would say that 218.58, 218.6 area, we could see a small deviation of this value area low into our midline of support and our 0.5, and then continue higher. Remember that the 0.5 is a common corrective target for either a B wave or a 2 wave. If this is going to be a 1, 2, and then we're going to shoot up in a 3, then the 0.5 is a corrective target. But also if this is just going to be another ABC and continuing this complex correction, then the B wave, the 0.5, is also a target to be watching. All right, I do want to zoom out here because I want to look at the bigger range. So I'm just going to take this volume profile and we are going to pull it all the way of pretty much all the price action within this descending channel here. Okay, yeah, it's point of control we're rejecting from, but I would like to look at this local golden pocket here into the value area low of the bigger range. Now, I do think this is a good level of support to be watching. Let's mark that out. Very low. So that is from 209.92 to 212.87. This area could be a support where we do come down to our bigger value area low. Back test that. You can actually see here, let's go ahead and zoom in onto the hourly chart. And look at this. What we did is after that low, the liquidity grab of this liquidity into our one-to-one target down here, we'd come up first, rejected on a small hourly candle from the first touch of the value area low bearish backtest, kind of rejected a second and third time, and then we were able to finally flip it, came up to the midline where we did TP up here. We also grabbed local liquidity of this high here. You can see we had a local liquidity grab. After that local liquidity grab of this high, we came back down to the bullish backtest of the reclaim of that value area low. Now we held that bullish backtest and we came up and made new highs. And then just now from there, we flipped that channel midline to support, continued to work our way up to our next resistance area, which was our point of control in our golden pocket. We are seeing a small push down here from the golden pocket and point of control area. Once again, we're getting 1 hour bull divs. You can see that here. Actually, excuse me, never mind. We are not on XRP. We are not making lower lows here. We do have higher lows in the momentum waves, but we are not making lower lows. And money flow overall, it looks pretty bearish here. We're just starting to cross over into the red. Okay, let's look at our money flow on the 4-hour time frame. Yeah, money flows red on the 4-hour. Now, it does look like it is pushing up a little bit here, but this could just be a little spike before continuing to roll, something like, a spike and then continue to roll down. Very, very, very locally, I would be watching. Let's go on to the hourly chart. And let's do our local Fibonacci pull from the highs from earlier today to our lows from earlier today. Yeah, the golden pocket is right around the point of control. So this area could reject us again. Once again, it's within our bigger box of resistance, which we could chop around in this box for a bit because it's near the point of control of our big range, and then continue to dump to the downside. XRP, I do have to say, XRP is looking a little bit more bullish than some of these coins. Like this push up to the upside, yes, it does look still corrective to me, but it's a much bigger and better V-shaped recovery than Bitcoin and Solana and Ethereum, especially Ethereum. And so let's see if it does come in with a higher low at our golden pocket and our value area low here, and then we can continue to push our way up and make a bigger change in market structure. Going to go ahead and hide that range, and we'll look at our smaller range again. Let's see. No. There we go. Yeah, so if we do break this point of control, we can expect to move up to our value area high. And our value area high has some confluence up here. We have the value area high. We have our anchored VWAP from the all-time highs, and a naked daily point of control in here, and a daily level in here. Let's turn on those naked dailies. Yeah, naked dailies near the top of the box there. And I just want to look at the new naked weekly points of control now that we've closed the week. Okay. All right, so we do have that new naked weekly point of control at 222.35. Oh, let's look at our 0.5. Nope, it's lower. Okay, I mean, it is near our 382 because we did front run the 382 earlier. So let's go to that 382. You can see not much confluence, though, to be honest, with our naked weekly point of control. It's similar to Solana's naked weekly point of control, where it's in a spot where we could bust through it. So I would keep it on the chart. I'd keep your awareness there. We do have some prior internal lows right around that area. But honestly, I'd be looking at our bigger support levels below us, which the value area low into the channel midline isn't a smaller support level that I'm watching where we could see the bounce. But our bigger support where we actually have the box marked out is the value area low into the golden pocket that we just covered. Yeah, to the upside, same, daily, naked daily point of control, anchored VWAP, value area high is between 258.2 and 264.8. And I just want to put this value area high. Okay, and then if we break that, we do have our bigger 786 up here and the value area high of our bigger range. That was that bigger prior range of this entire descending channel structure. Now we can look at our fib pull from the highs to the lows here. I mean, this to me was very three-wave correctus. There's no other way to really count that there. That's very three-wave correctus with seeing a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in your C wave. You can see very, very clearly that was a three-wave corrective move. Now, Okay, gold. Yeah, that's where that golden pocket is there. We do have the SFP up there as well. So let me actually... Yeah, the SFP is right near that naked daily point of control. So we can actually add liquidity grab into this. So this box between 258.2 and 264.8 is actually a pretty strong resistance above us. If we can break the box of resistance that we're kind of chopping around right now, it's a very high probability that we work our way up into this box, and then this box is strong resistance, so we could see a move down from there. I'm not so sure that this push down is done yet, though, because if we are just going to do the complex corrections that a lot of these coins are doing right now, clearly this was a B, C to the downside. You can see clear, very clear, the 5-wave impulse in this structure here, the 3-wave move up in this structure here, and then the 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So a 5, 3, 5 ABC correction. And this all here, it could be a 1, 2, and then we could boost, or it could continue this complex correction where we do see something like, that A, maybe a B wave here, and then a C wave up to this area, this crucial area of resistance, and roll over. We'll just have to see how this plays out here if we're going to continue to reject from this local point of control. If we flip this point of control, I do think we're definitely coming up here. As far as this being the B wave of an ABC correction, we haven't even hit the 382 yet. So you really can't. 382 is like a minimum invalidation. If you haven't even hit the 382, you can't say that this is a B wave, that the B wave's in there. All right, so that's about it for XRP. Let's go on to the daily chart here, and let's look. Okay, yep, we do have that new daily. Not new, it's actually already marked out on the chart probably, but the fresh daily at 202. And then we do have a new daily, though, at this area where we just confirmed it a couple hours ago, 238.98. We'll mark that out. All right, now let's go to our weekly. Ooh, that's nice. New weekly level at 213.78. And then, of course, we have that weekly way up here that's we have on the chart, but it's just hidden. So let's go back to our hourly chart. And look at this. Our new weekly level is right down in our value area low golden pocket zone. So I would actually go extend this box up just a little bit to hit our weekly. And let's add the weekly into this. And then as far as our new daily level that's in our resistance box, you can see that's near our golden pocket, that very local golden pocket pull. So this golden pocket, we have it right. The golden pocket is right in between our daily and our point of control. So what I would actually do now is let's take this and let's tighten this up to this general area. And since we've already hit into it here, we're just going to bring this sideways so that we know that it's a new resistance area locally. Okay, that is what you could watch for a small rejection here. If we are in a, an A, B, and then a C to the upside, your B wave, you want to see the 3-wave correction in a B wave. So what if this is just A, B, C, and then we make a C wave to the upside? I think that's a good possibility we could be watching for. Daily market cipher. Money flow just looks really bad again, guys. I mean, look at how aggressive money flow is coming out here. Yes, we are seeing the bull divs, but money flow is just so bearish here. You saw here bullish divs on the daily, but the money flow, look at, I mean, just with how aggressive it's been coming out. We also have to keep in mind, just like with Bitcoin, this entire upper range here, where we almost looks like a head and shoulders, actually. A head, left shoulder, right shoulder, head, and we know head and shoulders is a topping reversal pattern. Let's draw that a little bit better. Left shoulder, head, broke market structure bearishly. First of all, broke market structure bearishly, confirming we should be looking for a lower high. Right shoulder, head and shoulders at the top of a major pump, which is a topping reversal pattern. And this might break down and continue down, which I would be looking at this like 146 to 140 area as a potential area where we could find some support. Okay, but yeah, going back to our money flow, let's look at this range here. So here we go. Let's take that down. And in this entire range that we were just looking at here, look at where we have continued to form bearish divs in this range with our money flow topping out near the beginning of this range and just continually bleeding to the downside. And look at this overall. That flow of money just looks really bad with the bear divs up at the top here. And we know we're forming topping reversal patterns. So to me, this just overall looks pretty bearish for XRP. Yes, we can continue to chop in this kind of range for a bit, or even chop more in the descending channel for a bit more, you know, something like this, and then just continue to chop down in this area. But overall, it just doesn't look too strong here. Let's go to our weekly chart. Yeah, weekly, I mean, we were seeing that weekly bear div. It's not as clear though, because you can see here, yes, that's like a hump, and then we had like a little smaller hump. So it's like a bear div on the weekly like this, but it's not near as clean as like two separate momentum waves. And then also money flow on the weekly starting to come up, but is it about to do something like where it comes up just a little bit more and rolls over like we saw right here? It looked like it was trying to come up and then it rolled right back down. We could be looking for some repeat there. Yeah. Okay, so overall, XRP is in this bigger range. We just trade this bigger range until it breaks. So what do we know? We know that if we zoom back in on, let's go to the 2-hourly chart. Let's come here. We know that this value area low, weekly golden pocket area is our bigger area of support that we want to be watching. And then to the upside, the value area high, anchored VWAP, naked daily point of control, a daily level, value area high, swing failure pattern up here, with local resistance being this golden pocket point of control around 239 to 241. And then I would say we do have a local support level around our smaller range value area low and channel midline about 216.7 ish. That's this smaller range, not this entire big range here. Okay, that's it for XRP. Let's go on to Link. Okay, looks like Link hit into our resistance very nicely. So we were looking at Link. First of all, let's talk about this. We had dumped down. Now we did front run our support down here, but you can see we've clearly been trading in this range. This was the range that we marked out near this blue. Let me change this to pink so that we don't get confused. This is a pink descending channel that we've been trading on higher time frames for a long time. You can see this big pink descending channel we've been trading in really since the cycle highs on Link. Now we lost it to the downside. We were chopping around down here underneath it for a bit. We saw a move back up into it, but then lost it again. And so we've been looking at this range of this sideways price action kind of underneath this channel. Yes, we did see some deviations back into the channel here and here, but overall, we've kind of been chopping around in this sideways range. So we were looking for a couple things. We wanted to reclaim the value area low of this range, and you can see on the push up, we did reclaim the value area low. We came to the point of control. We rejected from the point of control. Came down to the value area low on a bullish backtest, and we did confirm that a flip to support, meaning that we are trading back within the value area of this range. So we can expect another move up to at least the point of control, but we had our resistance box up here because it was the bearish backtest of that big weekly, bigger daily descending channel. You can see that pink line where we bearishly backtested it. It was the point of control of the range. Now the point of control was up there. It shifted down a little bit, but if we pull this, let me grab this here, and let's just even do that there. Oh, where was it? You can see the point of control was there. And then we did have the liquidity grab of these highs right before that last little impulse down. Pretty much the fourth wave highs of this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we grabbed that liquidity into the point of control and the bearish backtest of our descending channel, and we are continuing to kind of grind down here sideways. Let's go ahead and pull this range back to current day. You can see that it does change the point of control. It lowers the point of control a bit, but our value area low has stayed the same. And once again, guys, this push up to me looks very weak and three-wave-ish. I mean, it looks very three-wave corrective to grab our local liquidity, to bearish backtest our bigger descending trend to the downside. And now we are forming right now a little three-wave correction here. Then, you know, so this we could see a small bounce from where we're at based off of the structure of this move down being a three-wave move down. But overall, I would have to say on higher time frames, we're still looking a little bit weak and still looking a little bit bearish here. We can go ahead and do our Fibonacci pull from the lows that we saw to our highs where we rejected. Okay, our golden pocket is near the value area low of the range. Let's check the 786 out because I don't like how we are not going to grab that liquidity of the second pivot. Okay, so that's a little bit there. Let's... Yeah, okay. Let me zoom in onto the hourly chart, and we will look at this ascending channel. So I'm going to make this blue so that you can see it a little bit better. And let me go ahead and clean this chart up a bit. I'm going to delete this box now because you can see we clearly rejected from our box of resistance where we were looking at. So I can delete that now. It's been used. I'll delete the liquidity grab level. It's been used. And just for a second here, I'm going to delete this range just so we can see this a little bit clearer. You can see we're trading in this really nice ascending channel here. And look at where we rejected, by the way, at the top of the channel. Now, we had pulled that channel based off of this first high pivot here. So rejected to the penny from the top of the channel, which was also the bearish backtest of our bigger channel, the liquidity grab up there, and our point of control was nearby. So definitely a resistance that we had marked out ahead of time, and we saw that actually work out. Already you should have taken a TP probably at, well, you could look at this small range here. I would go from the lows and just take the liquidity of this entire rising correction here. Okay, we haven't hit the value area low yet though, but I would like to talk about this. I'm going to delete this real quick. And what we did, you can see here, we hit into the top of the channel here, lost the midline, kind of back tested the midline all through here, and then we've continued down. We actually broke it to the downside, came up for the bearish back test, couldn't get back within the channel, made new lows, and now we're seeing a small bounce here. But do we see another rejection and a continuation down? And the reason we're looking for that, actually, let's go ahead and do this. Let's take our Fibonacci from the highs to the lows, and yeah, so the 786, I do like where the 786 is below this liquidity here of the second pivot of the channel. Now we do have, if we go grab our smaller range here, okay, I mean, that's going to be near the golden pocket is that smaller range, but we want to be looking at really the bigger range in this guy here. So two ranges we could be looking at. The point of control is pretty much the same on both those ranges. Now our smaller range, the value area high is a little bit, I mean, quite a bit higher than our bigger range value area low, but I really like where this bigger range value area low is. Let's delete this here because you can see it's near our golden pocket, and also we have that liquidity grab of the second pivot of the channel. And I often talk about the second pivot of a channel when we break an ascending channel or descending channel to the down, upside or downside. You often come sweep the liquidity of the second pivot, if not the entire liquidity of this channel, this entire liquidity curve here. So we do have that into our value area low. That's about 12.6, 12.7 in this area. I know this golden pocket is close by, but I don't like if we bounced from this golden pocket here. We would be so close to this liquidity without sweeping it. I just don't see the market makers leaving that there. So I actually like the 786 a little bit better. Let's grab this and let's go to the 786. Because then we would be sweeping. Now, yes, we would see a deviation of the value area low. We could come down here, hit the 786, and then close an hourly candle at or above our SFP level and our value area low. That's kind of the support level that I'd be looking at locally. And then, of course, we do have this guy down here. Let's see. I think that's our ABC correction target that we front ran. So let's look at that. Let's zoom out onto the 4-hourly. Let me just delete this for a second to clean that up. No, that, let's see here. What was that there? Oh, yeah. Okay, so that was the point of control and value area high of our prior range down here. That's right. I remember. Okay, so, yeah. We did hit our 1.236, though, on the ABC correction target. You can see here. That's kind of where we bounced. Yes, we did see a little bit of a liquidity wick past that liquidation cascade. So, but really our bigger support is this guy down here around, you know, $10 down to like 9, what is that? 940-ish, 935. Overall, Chainlink is looking still a little bit more weak. We are still just grinding. We can't really even flip market structure. I guess you could say that this liquidity grab here technically was a change in market structure because we did make a higher high, but it was only a liquidity grab. We really want to see more than just a liquidity grab for a true market structure break here. Also, this just looking three-wave corrective. Let's look at our volume here, and let's see how our volume looks. Ooh, okay, so, I mean, we did see a pretty nice spike in green there. Otherwise, I mean, you could see this decreasing volume overall on the push to the upside, but that spike there is a very nice spike in volume. But once again, guys, it was a liquidity grab. A lot of people getting stopped out, which is going to cause a big spike in green volume. All the liquidity from this whole thing here getting stopped out. So that could be one of the reasons why we saw this big spike in volume here. But overall, our trend is becoming decreasing volume as this small grind up continues. I would be looking for, if we're going to make a higher low, let me go ahead and get rid of this stuff. Let's zoom back in onto the hourly chart. If we are going to make a higher low, I would be looking at the SFP into our 786. And I'm just going to put the box a little bit before the SFP because we do want to grab that liquidity. And we did have our value area low. So SFP. SFP into Val and 786. Okay, so now let's delete this. And I'm going to delete this channel now. You guys can see that we're there, breaking it to the downside. If we do come back up just a little bit more to do another bearish backtest, we can look for a flip, and just it would be like a very local liquidity grab. Just of these highs here, come back up, bearish backtest to the channel once a grab our very, very local liquidity and continue the trend down. That could be something that we're looking for. Okay, let's check out our naked daily and naked weekly points of control. Okay, that's on the week, yes. So we already have this marked out here. Naked weekly point of control, it's already been marked out up in that box there. We also have one just above us. Up there, let's see. Yeah, naked weekly just up there. To the upside, though, we do have a new naked weekly point of control that just confirmed, you know what, 4 hours ago in this general area at $14. Let's go ahead and do our Fibonacci pull from the highs to our lows, and let's look at our 0.5. Okay. Yeah, all these naked weekly point of controls that we're seeing on the chart, they're kind of close by, and there's not a lot of confluence with them. But I would say it is around the bearish backtest of the channel, depending on how long it takes us to grind up there. I don't really like it too much. Let's go ahead and look at our naked dailies. Okay, and yeah, nothing really locally until we get up to this area here where we have our naked daily point of control and our golden pocket. Let me actually make sure that's right on there. Okay. So yeah, resistances are the same they've been. We did reject from our first resistance that we were looking at. If you go back in the prior videos, you'll see that we were looking at the exact spot we rejected from. We are breaking that ascending channel to the downside here, kind of in the process of the bearish backtest of it. If we continue down, I want to see us at least come down to grab the liquidity of the second pivot where we could find some support. But overall, it's still looking weak, and I do think we could come down lower to make new lows. To the upside, if we do break back into this channel, we do have the naked daily point of control and golden pocket between 15.43 and 15.618. But our bigger level is this 786 value area high of the range between 16.22 and 16.34. And then, of course, we got levels above us if we continue. Let's just go to the weekly real quick and let's check out our weekly charts. Yeah, just this weekly up here, but we already have that marked out. Daily, okay. Now, yeah, we do have a couple dailies in here. So the daily that just confirmed a few hours ago, that's actually probably going to be around that naked weekly point of control. We'll check that. Yeah, right on top of it. Okay, so we do need to pay attention to that naked weekly. And then we do have a daily down in this area. And then, of course, this daily's been tapped. Okay. Let's go back to our 1 hour chart. I'm going to turn this. Yeah, okay, so you can see that naked weekly. If I toggle it on and off, it's right on top of our daily level. So with the two confluences there, we do have to pay attention to this level here at $14. Right up here. I would expect us, if we do come up there, we could reject from $14 and continue to roll down into this area. Now, I know this is a little bit complicated and confusing because we were looking for the 786 because we have this liquidity grab. But once again, if we do this fib pull, you can see that that daily is around the golden pocket. To me, it's still not as nice as the SFP into the value area low and 786. But we do have to pay attention to it. It's down there. We might see a small bounce from it to continue a lower high. Something like we've been doing here, you know, kind of doing this sideways. We might see a bounce from here, make another lower high, and then come down here. No bull divs on the hourly. Like with Bitcoin, you can see we have lower low on the momentum waves and lower low here. So no bull divs. Daily chart. Bull divs on the daily that were confirmed, and we were looking at those. But look at it once again, just like with Bitcoin. Money flow coming out, and our momentum wave looks like it's trying to roll over. Not a good sign. Still can't get back into our descending channel that we lost. 4-hour chart. Yeah, okay, so money flow is like looking like it's wanting to bottom out, but our momentum wave is still not quite there. We might see another push down at least to make a higher low and then continue the push up. But to me, this just looks very three-wave correctish, and it does look like we could continue down. 15 minute. Okay, yeah, 15 minute. I mean, momentum wave's topping out here, and money flow looks like it's about to roll over. All right, now let's go to ADA. Okay, so we were looking at a few things for ADA. Nothing really has changed for ADA. We've been just kind of grinding sideways in a small range. But we do have this bigger box of resistance still above us. The more macro 382, the point of control, and the swing failure pattern of the range highs, our smaller range here. And then to the downside, we do have the ABC correction target, a daily level, a value area low, liquidity grab, naked daily point of control, and our 886 down here. So a lot of support both above and below us. We're kind of chopping in this sideways range. We can do our volume profile, and we can just look at this sideways range. I would actually look at it from the lows over. And, okay, let's look at this real quick, and then let's try one more thing. Let's go to this one. Pretty much the same thing. Let's... Yeah, same exact range, same exact volume levels. Okay, so overall we are chopping around, excuse me, we are chopping around the value area low of the range. You can see rejection from value area high, came to value area low, came to value area high, tried to break value area high, came back down to point of control, made an internal liquidity grab of this high, came back down to point of control, rejected from value area high, came down to value area low. So we are just chopping within this smaller sideways range here. So play the range until it breaks. Look for longs around the lows. Look for shorts around the highs. Keep in mind that this thing could break out at any time, and we could see the local range not be respected, and we can make a move up to our more intermediate levels of resistance and support. And then if we do see a big move, like if Bitcoin really starts moving, all of this local stuff could get broken through pretty easily. So let's, while we're here on the hourly, let's just do our fib pull from the high to the low of this local area. Okay, let's look at our 786. 786 is near the value area high. I would be looking at this. Remember, we look for shorts at the highs of the range, longs for lows. Longs at the lows of the range. So we do have 786 value area high is a very possible local support or resistance level. And then we can do a Fibonacci pull from the lows of this range to our current highs of the range. And we look at, let's check one thing real quick. Did we hit the golden pocket? Yes. So we bounced from the golden pocket once already. And it looks like we were pretty much coming down to that golden pocket area again, seeing the bounce from the golden pocket area. But since we've hit into the golden pocket, let's look at our 786, which is naked, hasn't been touched yet. and our 786 into our daily. Let's just double check to make sure this daily is fresh. Yes, fresh daily there. And then also we can mark out our fresh daily up here. And okay, and then let's zoom back in onto the hourly chart. Yeah, okay, so nice confluence developing here. 786 locally. Now these are local, guys, so be careful, because if it starts to move, if the market starts to move, these can get broken very easily. But locally we have our resistance with the value area high. Let's see, value area high, 786, and a daily, fresh daily above us between 74.26 and 74.66. And then to the downside of us, we do have support that is coming in around, let's do that there, 67.32 down to 67.07. Those are our local levels where we should be watching. Yeah, and then as far as our bigger levels, they're still the same. Still the same as the last couple videos. The next support below that is going to be from 64.55 to 63.19. And then the next resistance above our local resistance is going to be between 77.86 to pretty much 80 cents, 79.95. Let's come in here and let's look at our weeklies. Okay. Ooh, we do have a new naked weekly point of control, though, at our smaller range point of control. I just... Okay, and look at this. I mean, this box up here, we're starting to get some really nice confluence. So I'm just going to drag this box up a little bit higher to include the naked daily point of control, because we also have a naked daily POC. Ugh. All right, and then to the downside, right below our value area low, we do have a naked daily close by us. We could see a bounce from there and then continue to work our way up, because we do have to remember, now we have a naked weekly point of control that's pretty much right on top of this point of control. And we do have a naked daily point of control that's right underneath our value area low. So is it possible that we maybe come up and continue this grind? We come up, hit here, reject, make a lower high, hit down here, then come up here, then come down here. I mean, it's something we could be watching while we're just playing the bigger range. While we're playing this bigger sideways range in here. Okay, that's about it for ADA. And I think that's about it for the video today, guys. I know this is already running kind of long. Anyways, if you got anything out of this video, please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. And if you have any comments, questions, concerns, just post in the comments. I try to look at the comments as much as I can. Thank you all for joining. Have a good day.